Amplify is back. Don't miss the chance to improve every part of your business by connecting with industry experts, hearing best practices from top dealerships, and learning how to optimize your system for profitability at every turn. You don't want to miss the Amplify experience that is designed to help your dealership improve.
Welcome to Daily Drive for Thursday, June 26, 2025. I'm Jamie Butters, Executive Editor of Automotive News in Detroit.
And I'm Kellen Walker in Las Vegas. Today on the show, an automaker group blasts NHTSA, Ford orders salaried workers back to the office, and Lexus reclaims the title for new car quality. Plus, Roger Penske, in conversation with Automotive News publisher Casey Crane, reflects on the human element of the auto business.
The people side, Casey, of this industry and the opportunities and the partnerships have been amazing.
Let's run through all the news you need to know to keep up in the auto industry.
A trade group representing General Motors, Toyota Motor Corp, and other automakers sharply criticized the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The Alliance for Automotive Innovation says the auto safety regulator is impeding progress and struggling to modernize. John Bozzella, CEO of the Alliance, said in testimony prepared for a U.S. House of Representatives hearing, quote, "Its fractured relationship with the industry, decades-old safety regulations, and lack of a clear strategic roadmap for emerging technologies are stifling innovation and threatening U.S. global leadership." Bozzella will call for NHTSA to conduct significant reforms and will list dozens of regulatory standards that should be repealed, revised, or updated. NHTSA did not immediately respond to Reuters' request for comment.
Ford is calling the majority of its salaried workforce back to the office 4 days a week, the automaker's latest effort to boost employee and company performance. A Ford spokesperson told Reuters that many employees already come into the office 3 or more days a week. Quote, "We believe working together in person on a day-to-day basis will help accelerate Ford's transformation into a higher growth, higher margin, less cyclical, and more dynamic company." Businesses around the world have grappled with how much flexibility to allow workers since the 2020 coronavirus pandemic. Some, such as JP Morgan and Amazon, have mandated that hybrid workers return 5 days a week. The Ford spokesperson said the new policy affects the majority of its global salaried workforce while declining to provide a specific number. Ford notified employees of the updated policy on June 25th, and it takes effect September 1st, the spokesperson said.
Lexus jumped 7 places to take the top spot in the 2025 J.D. Power U.S. Initial Quality Study. The annual study, based on surveys of new car owners after 90 days in service, is a closely watched bellwether of manufacturer quality and predictor of durability. Last year's leader, Ram, dropped to the bottom half of the rankings after freshening the 2025 1500 pickup, the only model from the brand included in this year's study. Nissan was the highest-ranked mass-market brand, moving up 4 spots to number 2 overall. Hyundai held steady at 3rd place, followed by Jaguar and Chevrolet. The brand that improved the most was Dodge. It jumped up to number 7 from last place in 2024.
Dealerships are making more money on F&I products as consumers seek safety from tariff-induced inflation. The average dealership generated $1,850 in finance and insurance gross profit per vehicle during the first quarter. That's according to F&I software and analytics company Stone Eagle. That worked out to a 5.1% bump from a year earlier. F&I products provider JM&A Group reported a similar increase, 4.1%. Jonathan Jordan, JM&A Group Director of Performance Development Services, said economic policy is driving the uptick. Customers recognize that tariffs are likely to drive up replacement parts costs, he said, so they're willing to buy a service contract or prepaid maintenance package to lock in today's prices. Stone Eagle said dealerships average almost $206,000 in monthly gross profit from F&I during the first quarter. That's up 7.3% from a year earlier. And those are today's headlines. So, Jamie, the Alliance for Automotive Innovation says NHTSA is impeding progress and struggling to modernize. Why do automakers believe NHTSA's AEB rules are unfeasible?
Yeah, they've long complained about those. Partly it's that, they expect the rules say that you have to be able to stop a car automatically from 62 miles per hour, which is pretty fast. And here's the problem: a lot of times these sensors will have false positives. So here in Detroit, we often have steam that rises up from under the street. And I've known people who've had their cars just slam on the brakes. The sensors saw that steam and thought it was solid. So the risk of a false positive, is very dangerous for people traveling like on a highway or on a busy roadway. And for all the challenges that the technology presents, it's expected to save maybe 1% of the fatalities on the road, 360 lives annually out of, more than 40,000 a year that are dying. And obviously 360 would be a start, but it's a pretty small piece of progress for a lot of expense.
Gotcha. Coming up, Roger Penske reflects on the importance of teamwork in auto retail and in auto racing. That's next on Daily Drive.
Daily Drive listeners like you have access to the lowest price for Automotive News Congress 2025 on September 11th.
The event is where the industry's biggest players tackle its toughest challenges. Congress attendees don't just follow the industry, they lead it.
This year's featured speakers include Hyundai Motor Group Executive Chair Yusin Chung and General Motors CEO Mary Barra.
We are investing in America. We're creating jobs. That's creating IP in this country. And I think, the United States needs to lead in key technologies.
Join us to gain the insights and connections needed to steer your business through massive change.
To get the lowest price for the event, go to autonews.com/events, select Auto News Congress, and type in the discount code Daily Drive, one word, all caps. We'll see you in September in Detroit.
Amplify 2025 is right around the corner. Are you ready? Join the industry's leading innovators this August 18th and 19th at the Ritz-Carlton Dallas Las Colinas and be part of the event that will reshape retail automotive. At this 2-day experience, you'll explore new strategies and fresh ideas for driving real growth at your dealership. Choose from 9 hands-on workshops, each designed to deliver practical insights across every department. Gain forward-thinking perspectives during our expert-led keynote session and leave with actionable takeaways to implement right away. And it's not all business. Amplify also gives you the chance to connect with fellow professionals on the greens at TPC Las Colinas, the iconic course that hosted the PGA Tour's Byron Nelson Championship for 35 years. Secure your spot at Amplify 2025 today by visiting rayray.com/amplify. That's rey.com/amplify today.
Welcome back to Daily Drive. I'm Jamie Butters with Kellen Walker. Penske Automotive Group CEO Roger Penske said focusing on people and prioritizing teamwork and hard work are essential to a successful organization, something the business mogul knows a lot about. The motorsports and auto retail legend was honored June 25th with an Automotive News Centennial Award, which recognizes extraordinary individuals and families whose vision, innovation, and leadership have made a lasting impact on the automotive industry. It's part of how Automotive News is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. At a luncheon event in Detroit, Penske sat down with Automotive News publisher Casey Crane to discuss some of his wins, his losses, and the essence of leadership.
It's an honor to be here, and certainly the comments that were made in those videos are very deep, very strong, and I really appreciate that. Believe me, when they talk about 6 decades, you know what that means. I'm an old guy, but I can tell you, I still got the fight. But I think, Casey, the opportunity to be here today with you and what your family has done, Keith, one of my great friends in the automotive news career, and what they brought to the industry, as we all know, has been amazing. So for me to be here today, to receive this award is really special. So it's an honor for everybody. And I again say, thank all of you that are here today. For many are my friends, our associates, board members, customers, but really it's an honor. This is something that you don't really understand how you get it or why you get it, but this is special.
Thank you. I think the how and the why are pretty clear, Roger. Nobody's trying to say that you're slowing down at all. I know you've been on the road this week already. I know you're still charging hard, but it's nice every once in a while to just take a minute, take stock of everything you accomplished. The introduction, just scratches the surface on everything that you've touched. Looking back on those 6 decades, what does this mean to you? What does this opportunity to look back on the industry mean to you?
Well, I think that when you think you go back to 1965, and I became a Chevrolet dealer in West Philadelphia, and just to put it in perspective, you could buy a Chevy for $3,000 brand new. So can't get a set of wheels today, I don't think, for $3,000. But that was amazing when you think about that business. And for me, what's transpired, Casey, from the standpoint of that first dealership, and then the opportunity it's given me to buy the United Auto Group back in 1999, which was a struggling public company. And today that we lead, obviously, the market value in the New York Stock Exchange for all retailers. But that's only, maybe it's a number, but I think more importantly is the opportunities for me to go international with this business. In 2002, we decided to make an investment with the Sittner Group, and today we have 10,000 people, by the way, in the UK today operating. And then as we looked at a diverse opportunity in a business that we had, we looked at what's next. And we felt, because of our association in the leasing and rental and logistics business, that we would look to represent a heavy-duty truck manufacturer. And certainly 10 years ago, we made that decision to go forward in that business. And I think when I put it all together and say the journey has come along here, and I would throw in, obviously, Detroit Diesel, because it was a company that GM was divesting of. It was one of the great times I had taking that big plant, I think 3 million square feet, on Telegraph Road, and walk in there the first day. It was, I think we had 2,000 grievances, with it. Think about it. But that taught me a real lesson about people, because they were good people, and there were people that cared about the company, but the leadership didn't really care about the people. I'm not sure leadership ever went out into the plant. And one of the first things I did was to take that union group, the group that represents the whole plant, and bring them together and said, guys, we're going to start today, and we're going to take care of these grievances, and we're going to build a relationship. And I can tell you that over the years, they went away, and one of the biggest days in my life is when Owen Bieber, who was head of the UAW, and Bill Clinton came to Detroit. They didn't go to GM. They didn't go to Ford. They didn't go to Chrysler. They came to Detroit Diesel. And for me to walk arm in arm with him through that plant, I mean, it gives me goosebumps just to think about it. It's one of the proudest days of my life. So I can say that the people side, Casey, of this industry and the opportunities and the partnerships have been amazing.
Yeah. It's a perfect segue talking about the people. I don't want to say you've made it look easy, but you do it in such a way, Roger. People talk about the Penske way. Talk a little bit about some of your guiding principles and whether that was just something you picked up early on and have been driving it through the business, or you kind of learned about it along the way.
Well, I think I learned right off the bat that I needed to stay in the lane that I had, that I understood. Too many people move right and left and don't have the expertise. And I think the opportunity to me to really have two pillars. One was the retail automobile business, and the other was the truck rental and leasing and logistics business. So what I did, and today those businesses have 74,000 people. So it's a big organization, and think about it. So we run our business as a flat organization, and I think the key part is communication. And it's people, it's the human capital. And we drive, as said earlier today, we drive excellence with our people. We expect it. And we don't run a business where nobody fails either. Trust me. Think about that. Nope. People do fail in the organization because they don't live up to the standards. But I think what we've tried to do is have a communication process across the whole company. You know, once a month we start at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning in Europe and the UK. We go through the East and West in the US, our Freightliner business. And then we go to Australia at the end of the day. We always do it in the middle of the month, because that way we can talk about what's happening now, not reporting at the end of a month or the end of a quarter. And I think that strategy is paid off because we have our key management team talking to the people out in the field, which have their businesses. And what we do, we have a P&L almost on every business we have. So if you're a Penske leader and a management person, you have assets. And we expect return on our assets every single day. And if you don't, we want to help you. This isn't a case if you don't, you're out. But I think it's up to us as a flat organization. My office is open to anybody. And I think that's also key across the whole company. We're accessible. And what I do, I like to, work from the ground up. And certainly when I think about our people, and that's, to me, all the other things, the cars, the racing, the buildings, doesn't mean anything. And the people in this room know we have two customers, you sitting out there and the person that works next to me. But what we try to do is bring this group of people together to work in one direction. And I think that's paid off for us generally for many, many years. And to me, that's the secret sauce, is motivating, filling the funnel from the bottom, and 95% of all of our management moves come internally. We don't have to go outside. And I can see some of our key people here today. These people have all come up through the organization, and they're great success stories. And that's what motivates me every day. I have what I want. I have a great family. I've got a lot of good friends. I got a great business. But to see people thrive in our environment, just like the drivers here, to me, that gives me, that's my present.
It's incredible. Maybe a presidential run still in the...
Oh, yeah.
We got plenty of time, right, guys?
Yeah. That's one thing. I've learned not to be a politician. I've got myself in enough trouble.
Penske Automotive Group CEO Roger Penske spoke with Automotive News publisher Casey Crane. We'll have more of their conversation on Sunday's bonus episode. That's Daily Drive for today. I'm Jamie Butters.
And I'm Kellen Walker. Thanks to John Hutter, Michael Martinez, and Vince Bond Jr. for their reporting for today's podcast. You can get the latest news on iconic leaders, safety regulations, and everything happening in the auto industry at autonews.com.
Come back tomorrow for a discussion about challenges to dealers' service and parts operations. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think of the show and the topics we covered today. Send us an email at dailydrive@autonews.com or leave us a voicemail at 313-444-2774. And if you enjoyed the podcast, remember to like, leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.